Hi guys. So it's Maundy Thursday, and this is the time when Christians commemorate Jesus's trial and his eventual crucifixion the next day, death, and eventual resurrection come Sunday. So it's interesting that I was just thinking about how Jesus still chose to do right. He was able to handle himself with dignity. Yeah, he was able to do better, even though the people around him were, you know, doing wrong, maybe abusing their power and authority, and even doing wrong while they were thinking they were right. So, whether or not you're familiar with the story, so Thursday night, so Jesus was praying, Father, uh, he knows what his will is. He would rather not die, but he was praying to the Father, saying, if it is your will, then let your will, not my will, be done. And yeah, that's one note, by the way. This is not the major thing, but um if you've seen some of my videos before about our will, and you may have experienced something similar. Doing what we want is not necessarily selfish, right? Because we can really do so much good in the world. What do other people want? What do other people need in service to them? But let us not forget to serve ourselves as well, right? Let us not be a doormat that is just being abused by everybody because you are helping them without helping yourself. It is but healthy that we serve ourselves too. Again, self-serving sounds selfish and all that, but the more we take care of ourselves, then we are more able to take care of others too. So don't forget that, right? And ultimately, are we not responsible for ourselves, right? This is my body, this is my brain, this is my soul, my heart, right? If I want to take care of others, the least I could do is take care of myself as well. Yeah. Second most important commandment according to Jesus is love others as you love yourself. Equal, right? Equal. But then again, if you want to be able to help others more, then take care of yourself more. Love yourself more. All right. So, yeah, so again back to the will, right? Um it has been um it came to mean eventually that, I mean, yeah, thousands of years later, that our will is always opposite that of the Father, or when you want something it's automatically wrong or a sin. No, not not always, right? So that's a healthy reminder. Yeah, definitely we seek everyone's highest good, and if you know what is the best path, yeah, go for it, right? But when you know the best path for yourself, I'm happy to say that it's usually also the best path for others. Because again, when you are serving yourself, when you are taking care of yourself, then you have more resources to take care of others, and you're also inspiring them to take care of themselves too, right? Instead of me taking care of everyone, then this is how I do self-care. Why don't you do that? And then everybody um will be in a better position, you know. We will all be more empowered, we will all be more in tune and aligned and healthy in many aspects. Okay, so that's what happened in Gethsemane. Jesus was praying, and then in the dead of night, right? Judas came to identify Jesus, and he brought all these soldiers with him. And later on, so they had a trial, right? And scholars later on said, this is a mock trial because it was done in the dead of night, and we have all these witnesses who were contradicting themselves. So apparently, they're not legitimate witnesses. And when they keep on interrogating Jesus, they were asking things that they should have known, right? I mean, Jesus himself was saying, I keep on teaching every day. You know what I was teaching. Why are you asking me this now? And then when they were asking bullying questions, um, defeatist trolling, when they were trolling him, like spitting on him and asking, "Oh, who spat on you? If you're the son of God, then you should know." Then he just kept quiet because there are times when you speak and there are times when you're quiet. If you know that some people are just trolling, then there's no use going down, engaging in that behavior as well. And in all of that, Jesus handled himself wonderfully. He conducted himself in honor. He knew that he was not guilty of the crimes being presented against him. Or ironically, he was just speaking the truth because if his allegation was that he was the Son of God and they immediately saw it as blasphemy because the other people, they assume that it was not true. There's a balance there, there's a fine line there because they were acting on the wrong assumption. They were assuming that God cannot be man. So they did not consider the possibility that what if Jesus was saying the truth, right? So from Jesus's perspective, he was just telling the truth. And for him to lie to save his skin, right? To avoid going to prison because he would just deny himself, that would be the bigger crime. It would not be a crime in the society, but it would be a blow to his personal integrity. So what will you choose, right? The norms of society based on false assumptions. Again, I'm not saying everything in society, every norm is wrong, but you have to discern. Sometimes, yeah, just because it is the norm does not make it the universal law. Or when we have some beliefs based on what we know, what if there's new information that we are not aware of yet? And there was one thing before the trial that happened, right? When Jesus was being identified by Judas. Okay, like Judas was saying, arrest this man. This guy is Jesus. And Peter, I really, I really relate to Peter. So Peter was so, of course, everybody wanted, everybody was in fear. But Peter had the boldness, to strike off the ear of one of the arresters. Yeah, so he could argue, it was self-defense or in defense of his best friend and teacher, right? Because, I would think they would all know that, Jesus didn't do anything wrong. So why was he being arrested? So that was his way of, you know, um, confronting them. That was his way of, somewhat protecting Jesus, in his own way. None of the others did that. Um, and then what did Jesus do? He said no more violence, and he bothered to heal the ear of the arrestor, one of his arrestors, the one whose ear got cut off. He bothered to heal it. I mean, he could have just told his disciples, everybody take up arms, let's fight these arrestors, right? And we could argue that that is justified, right? If people are, is that if people are stealing your money, for example, if people are grabbing you or grabbing your kids, you'll fight them off, definitely, right? But kudos to Jesus because he saw a higher way. So definitely, we have different circumstances. I'm not um we can relate to that, but I'm not saying one way is what we should do. And definitely I don't have the power to heal someone's ear, right? Yeah, I'm not advocating for cutting people's ears or doing violence, but what I'm saying is, Jesus had the power to tell his followers to do violence, but Jesus also had the power to heal. He chose to heal. So that's interesting. You can choose to do good even though people around you are doing evil. Um and again, this might contradict what I was saying about don't be a doormat and don't let people abuse you. Definitely don't let people abuse you. But whatever path you take, what I'm also seeing here was, yeah, Jesus was in control of the situation. He knew his power. He did not need to prove himself. But when he showed his character, it was always for the benefit of everyone. And that's really awesome. And that's something we could do as well, right? Even though while we're protecting ourselves, we can still choose to see the good or appeal to the good in others around us, right? Oh, they might just be doing their job, or oh, maybe they don't know what they're doing, right? Eventually, when Jesus was on the cross, he was saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So everything can actually be a teachable moment, right? So when Jesus was arrested, he was still calm. He was acting peacefully. And yeah, when there were situations that he spoke, it was when he sensed that the other person was listening, or there might be a benefit to telling them something. Yeah, when he spoke to Pilate, when he spoke to the court, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And interestingly, when he was sent to Herod, was it Herod? No, yeah, he chose not to speak. So communication is two-way. There are times when it is more wise to speak, and there are times when it is more wise not to speak, right? Will it help your case, or will it help others, right? Even those people who are doing bad to you, maybe they just don't know. Maybe this is the time when you tell them, there's actually a better way, or this is the more right way, this is the better way, right? So those things. So yeah, so those are my Gethsemane moments. I'd also like to share that, I have encountered, and I know some colleagues of mine who are studying panic dynamics. So yeah, you heard that right. What people do in case of panic. So it's really tragic that we have those kinds of studies. Hopefully they will be used for the betterment of mankind and not to manipulate us further, right? But yeah, there are studies with people and with animals as well, that when people panic, or when creatures panic, they don't often find the best solution. Like when people are stampeding and there are many fire exits, but because they're not in their right mind, they often just follow the crowd when there are actually other exits around that will let them exit faster and safer. So that's the thing. What we can do to choose the higher good for ourselves and for others is to choose wisdom over fear. And yeah, that's easier said than done. So why would I not be afraid? I used to love this verse from the Bible. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So I would rather be wise than afraid. But I'm not sure if fear of God is a correct translation, or maybe because we use fear for the negative things. If we go to other parts of the Bible, we have God and the angels telling humans, do not be afraid. Fear not. Do not be afraid. So don't be afraid. So it's not about even if it's fear of God, there's still this thing about, oh, I'm weak, oh, I'm not in control, oh, and then you just treat yourself like a worm, and then the people around you will also treat you like a worm. But if you are wise, and this could be based on truth, like you are a sovereign being, you are a divine creation, right? You have value. The people around you also have value. So again, namaste, that expression means the God in me bows to the God in you. So yeah, we all have divine sparks, and we can conduct ourselves with dignity, with honor, handling ourselves with grace and with power, but the power that doesn't need to, tyrannize others. You just calm, you are in authority over yourself, right? And you don't need to prove anything because you already are worthy. And that's actually a calmness that other people around you will also sense. They will also get calmer because, it's like, when people have all guns raised. But, if someone lowers their guns, okay, yeah, we're all cool. I don't is that a good analogy? Or, I mean, everybody lowers their guard, but in a good way, not in a deceptive way. You're calm, you're not aggressive, you're not violent, then the people around you will also relax. And when you handle yourself and others with respect, with grace, then they will do the same to you. So, that's a win-win situation. We don't need to cut off each other's ears and drag ourselves to prison and to crucify each other. So if there's a better way, right? What is our will versus the higher will of the universe? Yeah, we can choose that, and we can choose the higher way when we stop living in fear. Definitely seek the truth, right? Why should I not be afraid? Why should I respect myself? Why should I love myself? Is it true that I have worth? Is it true that I am a divine being worthy of love and respect? And is it true that others also are like that? Yeah, so that makes things really better. I think it will make the world a better place. So again, we start with ourselves, and then we cascade that to the people around us, and they will also feel that, and they will also start living like that. Ta-da! And the world is now better. So yeah, so those are my Gethsemane moments. I do not plan to be crucified. No, thank you. Yeah, I do not plan to do that. But yeah, I can relate to this. But yeah, again, yeah. So, but in any case, you there may be many times, I don't think any of us have been literally nailed to the cross, but definitely we have metaphorical trials in our lives. Everybody has that. And everybody has times when we feel abused. And ironically, there are times when the people around us feel like we are abusing them, right? So, really, lots of communication, lots of love and respect and truth as well. And yeah, we got this. Okay, so do not be afraid. We can walk in wisdom, in power, and love, and no fear. Yeah, so one of my still favorite verses is, yeah, the Spirit of God is not a spirit of fear, but of power and love. I think I forgot something. Wisdom, power, and love. No, there's something else. I'll put it in the comments. Okay. So take care, everyone. God bless. Bye bye.